talking bands no one talks about. Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse and to another episode in our One and Done series. Tonight, well, this is kind of Grand Funk related. If anybody's been following, DC and I, there he is over there. There he is, have been doing a Grand Funk series where DC is trying to convert me into being a Grand Funk fan. Well, he's converted me on a couple of records, but, well, just hold tight. I might be on board totally, but you never know. I'm not quite there. But this album is right up my alley. I will say that because if you've been watching the Grand Funk series, you know that I'm a big fan of Don Brewer as a vocalist, drummer. I think the guy's fabulous. You know, and I think when Todd Rundgren got a hold of him and they did American Band and they did Shining On, Todd knew exactly what to do with Grand Funk, utilize Don Brewer more. And I'm down with that because once, well, I am. I don't really need Mark Farner in there. No offense, Mark. You're a fancy dresser and you don't wear shirts.
But not shirts, but not with shirts.
Not with shirts. It's
So you
great.
should go see him live then, since he's not in the band anymore.
I would if they come. I would. But anyway, you could say I'm a fanboy. Okay, we'll go there. But anyway, Don Brewer I think's great. So we're going to take a look at the 1979 album Flint. So what this is the band without Mark Farner. Mark went solo. He's expanding his horizons, and the Grand Funk Boys decide to rename themselves Flint. So you've got Greg Frost, you've got Mel, and you've got Don Brewer, a power trio, so to speak. No, they have a couple more members though, don't they?
Yeah, I think
They're not a trio.
It's some of their cohorts from Michigan, Flint area, Ron Trombley and Chuck Rowe. And I believe they had played in bands with these guys before they got Grand Funk up and going. So they were old musician friends from back in the day, and there's lots of guest stars on the album as well.
So we're kind of doing this like a Contrarians Dark Horse episode, I think. Even though it's not a Dark Horse, it's the only one. All right, so what we're going to do is just briefly talk about it, whether we like this record or not. We'll go around and do our rating out of 10. We'll compile it at the end, and we will certify this worth buying or not. How does this fit in the Grand Funk canon, so to speak? Is it worthy? Is it a good record? Is it something you should pick up for? It's expensive, so get ready. It did come out on Wounded Bird on CD, and I do believe it's out as a bootleg with no frills from Mark Farner. But I will mention that it's out there, but it is a needle drop, so keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a boot. But yeah, if you can find the one-way CDs, those aren't needle drops. So there you go. Just a little bit of a tip for you. So anyway, I'm just going to go as I see it, I guess. I'm just going to go Ernesto, John, Byron, and then Daryl to follow up with me. And like I said, just give me your rating out of 10. If there's any songs you like, what you like about this record, what you don't like about it. So anyway, gentlemen, that was quite an intro, I must say. I want to welcome Daryl, Ernesto, John, and Byron to the show tonight. Ernesto, take us away. What's your thoughts on Flint? This is, ladies and gentlemen, a true one and done.
Yes, it is. And it took me a while to listen to the song because I was always getting this Grand Funk in my head and going through it and listening to the songs and everything. And then when you guys talked about it, I didn't know about this album. So I had to research a little bit, listen to it, get a groove in my head and see, well, is it really good? And yeah, it is. There's a couple of good tracks in here. But before I start off, I do want to mention that Back in Your Arms Again is actually covered on the new Ace Frehley song and the new Ace Frehley album.
The new one that just came out, or it's coming out?
Just came out. Yeah, but I don't know if it's the same one though, because it's the first track on his new album. So because we know that Back in Your Arms Again is a cover, right?
It's a Supremes cover.
Yeah. So I saw it on the list of songs that are on his album, and I thought maybe it's a cover, maybe it's a different version. I don't know, but that's just something that came out. But from all the songs that I've heard recently, Back in Your Arms, of course, is great. I love it. And You Got It All Wrong was another good one that I like. Soon to Tell, it's okay. Love Me Like You Used To, that's pretty good. Keep It Warm, okay too. For Your Love was pretty good. One of Me, didn't really kick me, didn't get me. You'll Never Be the Same. Now that one stood out, and the only reason it stood out because of Frank Zappa. He's on that, and the guitar work on that really, really stands out for me. So I'm gonna make it short. I'm not gonna bore you guys.
No, that's fine.
But like all the tracks that I got to listen to and get it in my head, very R&B-ish, very American rock, So it's very, I would say it's very like grand funkish, but just a little more R&B-ish, if there's a word like that. But like I said, the tracks that I like, Back in Your Arms Again, You Got It All Wrong, You'll Never Be the Same. Those are all the songs that I liked. One of Me, that's a good one too. All good tracks. I'm telling you, this is for the first time that I heard it. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. I like it. It's not bad. Very R&B-ish, very American rock. Totally almost close to Grand Funk. I like Grand Funk. This was a little different, not too much. And the background vocals on this is by a woman named what was her? White Lightning. Now, that stands out. Her voice stands out, and it really helps the album. And I think that you don't hear that many background vocals in today's music, and this is good about it. That I like to hear background vocals. It just brings out the album a little better. So just keep it short. I'm going to give the album a 6.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's good. Because it doesn't have Mark Farner, the superstar, the shirtless wonder on this. So,
and and the funny thing is, Don Brewer, everybody says, "Oh, he's a great drummer, but he's really not a great singer." And I go, "No, I think he is a good singer." That's what they say.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. He sounds great.
Tell Todd Rundgren that he wasn't a good singer. People are crazy, but I mean, it's got that R&B feel, like you say. I mean, you could put Mark Farner on here and give him a couple of tracks to sing, and it would fit right in. It's not, you're right, it's not that far off from Grand Funk Railroad. It still kind of has that feel.
I think what I noticed is they really stripped a lot of the rock away from Grand Funk. This is pure, to me,
R&B,
rhythm and blues, which is very interesting because this is right in the middle of the disco era. And this doesn't have a whiff of disco at all. This is all soul, rhythm and blues. And that's always been kind of a part of Grand Funk Railroad. And boy, they hit it strong in that genre with this album, for sure.
It's not really foot stomping either. It's not too.
No, thank God.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. So my take, like I said, very R&B, very American rock and roll. So I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay.
6.0.
Excellent. I can live with that. Let's throw it over to John the Music Nut. He's been very quiet.
Before I forget, this CD on Amazon is $102.
Well, don't buy any CD off of Amazon.
Amazon
is all inflated. People on Amazon are they hope someone that doesn't know what they're looking for is going to click that button and buy something. It's always inflated. It's a bunch of bull crap. Just go to Discogs, ladies and gentlemen.
See, this is a great public service announcement because we'll probably have people tuning in for this show and they're going to want to just jump out there, go to the logical source, Amazon. Don't do it, folks. Listen to Ernesto and Grant. Head over to Discogs.
But there's not really anything available right now. That's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're better off buying the vinyl. But
you can get it for $30 on Discogs at the moment.
What country is it from?
I think that was the U.S. pressing. Oh, where's it from being sold from?
It depends.
Yeah.
Don't go Russia, for God's sakes. It might be
you don't trust me.
Italy. It's Italy, so it's going to cost a lot to ship it. So.
Yeah, screw that.
Here's the thing: is it worth buying? Now, from my opinion, I really do think it's worth buying because if you like Grand Funk, even though it's not similar and not by much, it's still worth buying. I think if you can pick it up on CD, if you can find it, or vinyl, you can find it. Really search. I think it is worth picking up.
All right, cool, excellent. Let's go over to John the Music Nut, who's been fairly quiet this episode. John, what's your thoughts and what's your rating about on this record? I'm kind of concerned. Go ahead.
I wouldn't buy this if it was $2 at the flea market.
There you go.
I think
We're
this was
honest here,
dated as
Grants
soon as
Rock.
it came out. As soon as this came out in 1979, it was already a dated record.
Okay.
This is not good, and this is not sanitary. This is just,
It's not sanitary.
it's not good. It's just there. It's just a group of musicians who play well, play competently, it's sung well, and the songs they're just there.
Sounds like Grand Funk.
Sounds
No,
like
this,
Whitford St. Holmes.
Hey,
Go ahead, go ahead.
this,
Poor
this
Byron.
makes Whitford St.
Poor
Holmes
DC.
sound like Led Zeppelin 4. This is not good.
Wow. Come on, John. Now come on.
Man,
It is, it's not good. Back in My Arms Again. This is the
single.
what's it? Dozier Holland wrote it.
It was
The
Supremes.
did it,
Yeah.
and the Supremes made it a hit. It's okay. But I'll tell you right now, as soon as you hear this album just sounds so dated. I mean, they lost so much with Mark Farner not being there. This is when you realize how important Mark Farner was to Grand Funk Railroad. This is just competent. That great fire you had in Grand Funk is gone.
Bless you, John. Bless you.
You don't hear the great bass lines by Mel Stalker except for the next song. The next song, the funk driven, you got it all wrong. The bass lines are cool. The backing vocals are very good. You got Latin in here, and it's stuck in the 70s. It's okay. It's not bad. Too soon to tell. Keyboards dated big time. I don't like it at all. It's not good. I do like Todd. I'm sorry. I like Todd Rundgren's guitar solo in it.
Well, Todd's always bringing it. Always bringing it.
Yeah, that's right. Not good.
Okay.
Something like you used to. This is the band trying to do 60s R&B. It's not terrible. It's okay. For Your Love. Oh my God, did they destroy a good song? This is freaking horrible. This is horrible. I'd rather hear Disco Duck than this. This is terrible.
I kind of like Disco Duck.
No, you take this great song that Graham Goldman wrote, and the Yardbirds made a classic, and it is horrible. It is sluggish and clumsy.
I agree.
Not like the arrangement. It's dumb. I don't like it at all. It's just when you got,
I agree. It's dumb.
Keep Me Warm. Dated, mid-tempo. Sounds like Bad Pablo Cruz. Next.
Oh no.
One of Me. Okay chorus and otherwise unmemorable song. Better You Than Me I like. And not just because you got Frank playing guitar on here. It actually has some bite. It actually has some fire. I dig it. It sounds a little like 70s Santana, which is probably late 70s Santana, like Marathon era.
No, I thought the same thing. I did.
Yeah. Which it's not my favorite kind of Santana, but it's decent.
It's good.
It's decent. Rainbow. You're waiting for this. There you go.
Byron has the props. As soon as you mention something, he just pulls it up. What is everything sitting around you all the time?
It's a recent pickup for like a 50 cents or something.
It's just like crazy. God, amazing. Okay.
I'm not a big fan of Marathon, but Marathon's a hell of a lot better than this. I'll tell you that. Rainbow. Oh, well, this sounds like it could have been a good song, and we were waiting for it to catch fire, and it just doesn't do it. And the ooh-oohs are not good. The ooh-oohs just dated again. It's not good. You'll never be the same. They attempt to play an epic here. You got more Frank guitar. That's the highlight. Again, it's too dated. All the sax on here even sounds dated. I mean, too, this is like, you ever hear the four Kiss solo albums?
Mm-hmm.
And 3 of them have something to offer, and then you got Peter Criss. This is Peter Criss.
Oh my God.
This is not good.
I like that Peter Criss.
This is not good for Smoking Grass 2 or Cutting the Lawn 2. It's not good, but I will say
My goodness.
musicianship on it is good. I will never rank an album a 0 or a 1 because then you're completely shitting on it. And I would not completely shit on this. There's some things on it I like. There's a couple songs I like. I wouldn't buy it. I would take the worst Grand Funk over this any day, but I'm not a big fan. I'll give it a 3.5.
3.5. All right.
I don't think I've ever
Excellent.
seen John this brutal ever.
John's fun when he's brutal. I
Bringing the
like it.
fire.
Rare.
It brings a lot of fire to the show. I like it. It's all
No.
people we love, I think that's great. Awesome. We all hear things differently,
No.
And great
good.
review, John. I appreciate it.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Byron, Mr. BM Bolt.
Man.
Husband to Mrs. BM Bolt.
Yeah, she's gonna be pissed off when she sees John's review of this thing. She likes this album.
She does?
Oh yeah.
Maybe we needed Mrs. BM Bolt on
She
here.
likes
Yeah.
upbeat and catchy, she says, and she
It's
thought it
not
was upbeat.
catchy.
It is for her.
I like upbeat too, but I don't think there's not catchy.
I thought it was catchy. All right.
No.
But I'm not doing my
Anyway.
review yet.
Okay.
BM Bolt, let's hear it. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think I was watching some of the Mark Farner interview on Peter Kerr's channel the other day. I think they saw that. And he said that Don quit Grand Funk and just walked out. And because everybody says, well, Mark was the one that broke up the band. Well, according to Mark, Don quit. But then apparently Don got back together with Mel and Craig, and Mark did his own thing. So maybe that's how this band came about. But I would say the album's got a real Motown, soul, R&B flavor, a little funky at times. If I had to describe it, it's kind of like their cover of Some Kind of Wonderful, but I think Mark sang that, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, but it's got that kind of feel overall. I think the songs are fairly catchy at times, more so than the Whitford St. Holmes, which we talked about. But Whitford St. Holmes rocked out a lot harder than this ever went. So take that for what you think. They did a second album, which nobody's really brought that up, but it never got released. It's on YouTube if you want to listen to it. It's not as good as this, which
Oh, God.
John almost passed out.
So it sucks.
Oh, God.
So I don't know what John would give it.
God, I'd love to hear John's review, though.
Yeah.
I'd love for him to give an honest review of it.
Please, no negative integers.
I feel
Right.
like the disco is starting to creep in a little bit on that album as opposed to this.
Oh,
this
yeah,
one didn't really have
it
any
is.
disc, but that one it crept in a
Interesting
little.
point. Yeah.
But anyway, so let me talk a little bit about the songs. Back in My Arms Again. I thought that was a pretty good song. That song stands out.
I
to
think
most of
that's
me.
great.
But,
Yeah.
but it's probably because it was a big hit for Springs. But whatever. There's a lot of horn sections and saxophone on this album, a lot of female background vocals. So it's just got that whole vibe to it throughout the album for the most part. I didn't think You Got It All Wrong was too bad. It's kind of a mid-tempo, real funky track. A lot of, like I said, female backing vocals, some sax soloing. Next track was Too Soon to Tell. It was all right. Rundgren saves it though with the solo. There really wasn't a whole lot to say about it until Todd comes in and has a real aggressive.
It's great. It's great.
Really, he salvages it.
That's right.
You Love Me Like You Used To. Yeah, it's almost got like maybe a Fats Domino feel to it. It's real piano driven.
Bouncy.
Yeah,
Bordering on doo-woppy.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, the For Your Love cover, it wasn't great. I'm not going to say it was terrible, but
It's
it wasn't
horrible.
great. It's got Todd Sullivan on it, so, I'll give it that.
But I think what John pinpointed on For Your Love, I think he was right on. I don't.
It's nothing like the original.
I made this face when I heard it, and I kept it.
Side 2 starts with Keep Me Warm. Says Todd's on that, but you really don't hear him. It's kind of an upbeat, very accessible track, again with the female vocals and the horns. It's kind of catchy, but whatever. I actually liked One of Me. Got this weird introduction with just piano noise and some random drums. It's kind of dark. It's got a Hammond organ solo on it. I thought it was pretty decent. Better You Than Me, that's the track with a lot of Frank Zappa guitar solo on it. It's kind of a fast, aggressive song. There's a lot of Hammond organ in that again. Rainbow, it's kind of catchy, a lot of saxophone. It could have been a single. I'm not saying it would have been a hit or anything, but it could have been a single. It's that type of song. And You'll Never Be the Same, the last track. It's got Mellotron in it. Which I don't think there was any other on the album.
Right there, if Rand Kelly was here, he would
Yes.
give this a 10 out of 10 because it had Mellotron on it.
The intro of it reminds me a little bit of Funeral for a Friend.
Oh, yeah.
John. It's got a little bit. I was listening
A
like
little
"This
bit,
reminds me of that
yeah.
time." You know how it kind of starts to build up. You know,
Yes.
it had a little
Yes.
bit of that. And Zappa played some guitar on it. I thought his playing was a lot better on Better You Than Me. Or that one. Yeah, but the last song, it wasn't too bad. So I'm gonna give this a 7.
Whoa.
Whoa, baby.
Wow.
7.
Mrs. Bolt told him, do not
Mrs.
rate this
You don't
less
wanna
than a
upset
7 or
Mrs.
there's going to be trouble.
You don't upset. You don't want to upset the trophy
No.
wife.
Happy
No
wife, happy life.
way.
There you
man.
go.
True.
All right. I don't.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
She's
I
gonna
think that was a
hate
good
John
review.
though. She's gonna hate you from now. She
John,
used to really like you a lot, John. But now I don't know, man.
Now you might have burned your bridge.
I gotta call it like I hear it.
And that's what I like. I'm glad that people can come on this show and everybody, some channels you can't be truthful, but I must give props to the people that follow Grant's Rock Warehouse because everybody is all great about our personal opinions. And I mean, knock on wood, I could get some asshole, I'm sure, but we've been pretty good until now. I mentioned it. Now it's probably all going to go to hell. But anyway,
Grant,
I've
we
had
don't-
this album since the '80s too, so maybe that's part of the reason why I seem to like it a little more than some of the guys.
you've had it since the 80s?
Oh yeah.
Well, because it's probably good.
Wait. Let's probe into this a little bit more. You've had this since the 80s. Why did you buy it? What was it you bought it?
I think I got it for like next to nothing, first of all. Well, the reason I really grabbed it was because of the Rundgren and the Zappa appearances. That was why I bought it.
Mhm.
And I don't think I paid much for it. So then, I like Zappa.
Well, for those
so I
Rundgren,
hung on to it. It's not bad.
yeah, okay. I think a 7's
So-
fair. But those Rundgren Zappa completists, they'd have to have it. So
The
Right.
funny thing is Zappa's not even mentioned on the album, is he?
He's on the he's on the.
he's on the credits.
Oh, he is? Oh,
It's-
okay.
It shows you which songs he plays on, and then it says
Oh, okay.
appears courtesy of Discreet Records.
Oh, okay.
Same as Rundgren.
So there you go. So far, ladies and gentlemen, we have a 6, a 3.5, and a 7.
Wow.
Okay, let's
throw
throw
out
it
that 3.5.
over
It's
to
just too far
DC.
off the-
Hey, this is interesting. You've got wide range, kind of,
Yes.
kind of. Well, yeah, we do. Okay. DC,
Yes.
Mr. Grand Funk himself, leader
sir.
and organizer of the Mark Farner fan club.
Right.
Right here, folks.
What's your thoughts on this one?
Unlike everybody else here, I purchased this thing when it first came out.
And what was your reasoning?
I love Grand Funk Railroad. I could tell you I was much more excited about Mark Farner's solo career than what I thought I was going to get with Flint.
Okay.
But I like all the musicians in the band. So I held out high hopes for this one. It is, as some of the other folks on the panel here have suggested or said, it's an R&B album, pure R&B
It
and
is.
pop, and then rock is like about here. There's a little bit of rock, but this is an R&B album
Mhm.
with shades of pop. Not really rock, and they let you know what's coming or what they're all about with the cover song that leads off the album, Back in My Arms Again. That is the template for where they're going with this band. This is what they're all about. I agree with Ernesto in that the last song on the album is my favorite, You'll Never Be the Same. And there are actually 2 songs on here that I could have heard on Shining On. You'll Never Be the Same and Too Soon to Tell. I could hear those 2 on Shining On. So there is a little bit of a cross referencing, but there's two of these songs I think could have fit on Shining On, but this is really not what Grand Funk Railroad was all about, really. It's a competent R&B album. I was underwhelmed by it then. I'm underwhelmed by it now. Here's a little fun fact for you, Grant. Mark Chatfield from the Gods.
Which is a rock and roll machine.
Yeah, the Gods are a rock and roll machine.
A machine.
And then you got Jimmy Hall from Wet Willie. There's lots of guests on here and everything, but the general approach here is we're an R&B band with little shades of pop and rock.
Okay.
So I thought it was interesting that on a lot of the songs where they didn't have Todd or Frank, they had Mel also play guitar along with bass. I really don't have that For Your Love cover. I agree is awful. It just sits there. It's just
Ernesto likes it though.
No.
Well, we all hear things different.
That's why I say
Back in My Arms Again as a cover, I think
it's great.
Very good. Well done. For Your Love, it just to me it just
doesn't work.
Doesn't work. I wish I could add more embellishments and thoughts about it, but when I bought it in 78, I was kind of underwhelmed, and that hadn't changed one bit all these many years.
Well, let me ask you this, DC, since you've had such a long history with this record, when this came out, you learned that did you know that they were going to produce a record? How did you find out? Rolling Stone, whatever.
Definitely not Rolling Stone. It was probably something like Circus Magazine. Because even Cream didn't give a shit about Grand Funk. So it's probably in Circus Magazine that I read it.
What was your anticipation once you read the article? So, they're going to put out a record. What did you think it would be?
I expected more rock content. I don't have a problem with the R&B approach, but it seems like that was the singular focus of this band. It's more an R&B band than a rock band to me. It's got tinges of rock, but despite the fact that Zappa and Rundgren are playing guitar on it, other than that, this is a very R&B or pop type album. I mean, Rainbow is just cotton candy pop almost to me. Da, 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 over the rainbow.
Yeah, it's good.
Like I said, and if I had to grade this,
I need a score. Don't upset Mrs. BM Bolt.
What? In order not to
John's already on the outs.
In order not to upset Mrs. Bolt, I will give this album a 5. It's competent.
Okay.
Right on the
Nothing wrong with the performances and everything, but it sits there in the middle. Just sits there
because it doesn't have enough rock and roll.
Doesn't. And I mean, even the R&B stuff is very hit or miss. I would say there's 3 songs on here I really like. 2 I do not like at all. And the other ones, just like I say, they sit there. It's competent. There's nothing unprofessional or subpar about the performances. It's just doesn't give me that.
And there's no Mark Farner.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for that. That guy, to me, brought so much fire and energy. And although I love both the vocalist and Grand Funk, I rate Farner a little higher. But like I say, we all hear things different.
This is where we differ.
Yeah.
But that's what makes the world go round.
Oh, how boring would it be if all 6 of us just mouthed the same thing and had the same impressions? Very boring. But everyone's giving their take, and we don't tolerate bullshit at the Warehaus.
The Warehaus.
You bring the truth.
When we're hanging out at the water cooler, there's no BS.
Remember Denny? He didn't last a week. We kicked his ass to the curb. Yeah.
Anybody here remember Denny? No.
I forgot all about Denny.
Yeah, Denny.
Out of here. I don't even know how he got through the front door.
All right, well, so we've got a 6.
Those restaurants, huh?
Yeah, Denny's sweeping the floors somewhere else. He used to really ride that forklift a lot. He was good at operating that thing. Anyway,
he could maneuver those.
We had to move a lot of records back when he was here. But all right, so we got a 6, a 3.5, a 7, and a 5. Well, my goodness gracious. I think I'm going to align myself much more with Mr. being bold on this. I'm going to give this record a 7
Wow.
because I think Don
I'm gonna
Brewer.
piss my wife off.
I think no, I love your wife. One, but I'm not exactly. I don't hear what you think is so bad or lackluster. Hey, it's competent. Yeah. Hey, for a first release without Mark, I think it's more than adequate. I think Don Brewer as a vocalist is absolutely hitting it out of the park. The band plays well. Let me look at the where's the track? Damn tracks. I think Back in My Arms again. Hey, it's not original, but I think that's a great cover version. For Your Love is absolutely hideous. That ruined it, damn near ruined it. But you've got You'll Never Be the Same, which everyone is claiming to be one of the best things. I think you're right. I think side 2 is pretty damn strong. One of Me's fine. Rainbow, Byron mentioned how poppy it is. Yeah, but it's not offensive. I think it's okay for a first album. It's not it's a 7 out of 10. I think it's more than competent. And I think if you take Mark Farner out of the equation, might be what you would get. These guys are into the whole soul R&B thing. Yeah. Has it aged well? Well, it feels like something that should be more in the early 70s than the late 70s, but I don't know. I think they could have. I would have liked to heard the album had Todd Rundgren produced it. That's what we're missing. We're missing a strong producer. This is these guys producing themselves again, pretty much. I mean, that's all they pretty much did in the Terry Knight era was produce themselves. But we don't have Mark Farner without his shirt. So, or Mark Farner without his horse. So,
you need to listen to that first solo album from Farner and compare it to him not having his cohorts in Grand Funk and what he did.
We're going to look at that, DC.
Yeah, and I rate it much higher than this. Boom, boom.
Well, we're going to get there.
Okay. But you have to hand it to these guys, Grant, that I will say this. It would have been so easy for them to cut some of these tunes as more disco type tracks, but they stayed true to what they always loved R&B and soul. Grand Funk. You might not have heard it in those.
You hear it, listen to that live album. There's a lot of it's funky soul kind of stuff. It's not that far off from this to my monkey ears. Or my monkey brain.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying you might think it's far off, but it's not. There's just guys that have more clothes on this record.
Success ruined these guys. There's no passion.
I think there's passion. You're saying that Don Brewer doesn't sing with soul or passion?
Can't write songs anymore. I mean, he sings well, but Mel,
he never did write the song. Mel did Didn't Mel write a lot of songs on here?
No, I don't think Mel wrote anything in Grand Funk other than maybe a couple of the instrumentals. Mel is wicked, but good.
Oh,
not here though, except for that one song. You got it all wrong.
I thought I liked Mel as a bass player, but my thoughts have changed. He's okay. He's not anything too incredible.
You listen to the live album?
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
John, that's the shocker is that when we talked about that first live album, Grant did not like the fuzz on Mel's bass.
The mix is way too hot.
Loved his bass
work
on that album.
I don't. It's way too hot in the mix.
Surprised hearing that from someone who was a bass player.
Yeah, but he's not.
Me too.
And Mark Farner as a guitar player is just adequate. These guys aren't very good musician-wise. Don Brewer is. He's kick-ass. But Mel, a lot of bloaty. I'd rather listen to Geezer Butler. Good God, he could blow Mel away.
Oh, I think Mel's a very good player.
No.
And Farner is the right guitarist for this band now.
Exactly.
Keith Richards is the right guitarist for the Stones, and he's no great
Keith Richards guitar. Well, he always used to play rhythm. That's why.
Yeah, nor is George Harrison. They know enough lead to get the job done, and that's what Farner did. And an outstanding
front. I want to see you guys sit down and play And Your Bird Can Sing and tell me that George Harrison sucks.
Oh, I didn't say he sucks, but you put him on there, Jimmy Page, Richie Blackmore level of lead guitar, but that's not what the Beatles needed, and that's not what Grand Funk needed either. He was the right guitarist for this band.
Yeah.
My 2 cents.
I think the band was getting steered to that R&B sound because that's what was in back then, you know.
Well, that was disco. That was full-blown disco in 79.
Disco was officially didn't start till 79. Pretty close. It was on the edge.
More like 75.
75, do the
Yeah,
hustle.
more like 74 or 75.
Fly,
with
Robin, fly.
George McRae and
that's
Rockabilly.
76.
Talking.
Right.
Car Wash is 76. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of funk
Disco Lady.
in it,
Yeah.
but that funk is turning into disco, you know?
Yeah.
You could
Grand Funk's late their success after like We're an American Band seemed to be a lot about R&B anyway.
Yeah, Locomotion, Some Kind of Wonderful.
Right.
Look
So
at
they
Grand
were just
Fun.
they were just kind of
they kind of kept going.
milking that, you know. I don't
Yeah.
blame them.
I don't blame them either. Is it 1979? I'm with John, the music nut. I think maybe 1973. That's what it sounds more like. But yeah.
I got a question for Daryl. You're a big Grand Funk fan.
Oh,
Would
leader of the fan club.
Well, okay. Is this album as good as any of the Grand Funk albums, including Born to Die?
No.
No.
It's easily right up there. It's better than E Pluribus Funk.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lord.
definitely.
My Lord.
Yeah,
Bring out the album.
yeah.
Is it even as good as those later album like What's Funk and Grand Funk Lives?
It's better than good singing and good playing.
Oh, I don't think so. Now, those two that they got together again in the early 80s,
Right.
it's closer. I would still put them above this, but
Okay.
it's closer. But anything on Grand Funk's proper history, no, this album doesn't come close to any of those albums.
Okay.
At least there's catchy songs on here.
Like what?
Yeah. Like what?
Right back in my arms again.
There you go.
Which they didn't even like.
I like You'll Never Be the Same. I like
There.
that.
You got it all wrong, Sketchy. I'll say that.
All right. So I'm going to give it a 7. I don't give a flying rat's ass. So we got a 6, a 3.5, a 7, a 5, and a 7. We calculate that total and we get a 5.7.
Oh wow.
And that brown noser Denny would have given it an 8 or a 9 just to suck
Well,
up the Grant. That's why he's out of
Right.
here.
He's out of here because he was, well, you know why. I'm not going to bring it up because of HR, but he was doing things he shouldn't have been.
HR puffing stuff.
Exactly. That's the one I'm talking about.
I figured.
So a 5.7. Okay. I accept that. I have to go with
what did we give Whitford St. Holmes? What did that?
I think that was a
tally?
6.
The 6? Yeah, that's.
It might have did better than this.
That did better.
Yeah.
Did it get like a 6?
It was a 6. We had
Yeah.
2 6, 2 7s, 2 5s, and a 6.
You can't.
Thank
compare
God
the
that
singers.
Byron kept notes.
I remember
Derek
that.
St. Holmes is better singer. He's a better singer.
Better singer than
I don't know. That's you're gonna
They're
Tom
both good
Brewer.
names, Adams.
Don Brewer kills.
I think
Tom Brewer's a good singer.
Don Brewer kills.
Yeah, I know, but Derek St. Holmes is pretty good too. He's up there.
I'm not saying he's not, but we're talking Flint. We're talking Grand Funk.
Yeah.
Todd Rundgren knew they needed to utilize him more, and once they did, it paid off.
Right.
And then from then,
There's
he
no
got,
arguing that. There's no arguing that.
listen to the vocals on We're American Band. Holy,
Oh yeah.
no way Mark could have pulled that off because of that gritty, great Don Brewer vocal that really is in your face with the passion and rock and roll.
Did you guys happen to listen to that Whitford St. Holmes in 2015 video I posted?
I didn't.
No.
What the
'Cause
band sounds
You
like?
post stuff and I just hit delete.
Well, give a listen to that, and it shows how the band sounded in 2015. I think they were better than they were when they cut that first album. It was tight, very well done.
Like
So,
Cheap Trick tight.
Well,
she's tight.
John,
He's tight.
hey John, didn't somebody mention the St. Holmes album to you?
Yes, Drew Rose is requesting that we review the reunion album from Holmes, Whitford St. Holmes.
wow.
I'm game for
I only
that.
listened to it once.
I'm game. I've never listened to it, but I'm game to give it a few listens. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want to give it a listen based on that video I stumbled upon of them performing live at Daryl Hall's club from
Right.
2015. much better than that first album. I mean, they were really good.
I'd say let's do it. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, there you go. The first Flint album, 1979. We will be looking at the unreleased Flint album. I know. I'm thinking the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. So, but on this record, we give it a solid 5.7. Now, if this was a Contrarian episode, I wouldn't make, this is not a dark horse by any means. Is this worth picking up? I would. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
It's
their best album.
Rundgren, you like, if you're a Zappa or Rundgren completist, you might want to get it. If you're a Todd Rundgren completist or you like Utopia, I can recommend the Sean Cassidy album from 1980, Wasp. That's better than this record. I will say that. Anyway, 5.7, I'm good with that. It's fine. It's just fun talking music. And in the Warehaus, who else is talking Flint, for God's sakes? Well, we are. Not that anybody cares. I did it anyway. All right, everybody. Gentlemen, we will reconvene Wilson Hawk sometime in January. I will be in touch. I want to thank Daryl, DC, Byron, BM Bull, John the Music Nut, and Zartan Ernesto. I covered everybody's stage names. So we will see you in January. All right, everybody. We'll see you. Please like, subscribe. You know the whole routine. See ya. Bye.
Hey.